We're recording.
Hi, my name is Michelle Estrella. As the current Vice Chair of the Open Space Board of Trustees, I am opening the April 10th, 2024 meeting. Welcome, everyone. Tonight's meeting will look a little different than usual, our usual regular meetings, because we're going to say goodbye to our outgoing chair and trustee, Dave Kuntz. This would have normally happened during a March meeting, but out of respect for the tribal members who were our special guests last month, and the scheduled board action regarding the disposal of CU South property, we postponed it to this month. And we will also be welcoming our newest trustee, Sarah Glenn, tonight. So first, let me do the roll call, and then we'll move on to matters from the board. Trustee Carroll.
Present.
Trustee Glenn.
Present.
Trustee Robinson.
Present online.
Accounts. And Trustee Zuckerman.
I'm here.
And of course, I am here. So we have full representation tonight. And now we'll move on to matters from the board. First order of business is welcoming our new trustee. Last month, Sarah Glenn was appointed to our board by City Council. Right? And tonight is her first meeting. So first, Sarah, let's have you read the oath of office, and then I thought we could do some introductions, and we'll start with you.
Okay, great. I, Sarah Glenn, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and of the State of Colorado and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Boulder, and faithfully perform the duties of the office of a member of the Open Space Board of Trustees, which I am about to enter.
Excellent. Thank you. And then if you'd like to take a moment to introduce yourself, start with you, Sarah. Just tell us like how long you've lived in Boulder and perhaps what your favorite trail or resource or program at Open Space is.
Okay, great.
Or anything else you want to add?
Sure. I moved to Boulder in 1999. And I frequent Skunk Canyon. That's my favorite inlet to the trails. So I'm often up on the Mesa trails and in Chautauqua. I try to get up there a couple of times a week, no matter the weather. I also, what else is there? I am a business owner. I have a health and wellness company. And I have been part of the Boulder, an active part of the Boulder community for a long time. I was the PTO chair of Bear Creek Elementary, where both of my children went to elementary school. I was on the board of the Impact Hub Boulder here in downtown. And I'm just really grateful for this community and this open space, and I'm excited to contribute and support all the best for everyone.
Thank you. Well, we are super excited to have you. So welcome. I will just go around if that's okay.
Yeah. So I'm Harmon Zuckerman. I've been on the board now for about 6 months. I'm filling a position that was vacated, and it's a 1.5 year hitch until that 5-year term is over. And also really big proponent of the trails and open space. My favorite trail currently is the Springbrook Loop. For my mountain biking, because I can get there easily and I love it. And it's pretty amazing that it's so close to my house, and it's right in our town. So excited to have you.
Thank you. Welcome. That's a good one. We should write that together.
Yeah.
Do you want to go?
Sure. I'm John Carroll. This is my 3rd year on the board. As I mentioned before the meeting, my background's in robots and technology. I've started a number of companies in and around the Boulder area. My favorite part of the open space system is Flagstaff Mountain, probably Artist Point there. My husband and I got married there. In Colorado, you can self-solemnize your marriage with just 2 people and you sign a certificate. So we went up there and did that kind of in a private ceremony. So open space holds a very special place in our hearts.
Sweet. Brady.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Brady Robinson here. I am at an event in New York City in the kids' room right now, hiding, so I can be with all of you. I'm starting my second year on the board. I've been in Boulder since 2007, and professionally, I've been in the nonprofit space, policy advocacy, conservation. And my favorite place, there's a lot to choose from, but the first Flatiron and the scramble up that face and trotting down with friends is still one of my very favorite things to do. So welcome to the board.
Thank you. It's fun. Well, my name is Michelle. We know each other. I've been on the board for 3 years, going on my 4th year. I've been in Boulder, I don't know where time goes, but 20 years or something? Because I'm like 25, right? No. Convert those numbers. Yeah, so I've been an active part of this community for the better part of, I think, like 12 years, and served on Discussion Up Advisory Board. Met Jeff there, and then served on Chautauqua Board, and couldn't get enough, so now I'm on Nova Space Board. And my favorite trail is probably going to be, or activity is also being riding my bike, but mainly because I just have such fond memories of teaching my kids how to ride a bike on at Boulder Valley Ranch on their Striders. And we are going to talk about tonight about the Marshall Mesa Trailhead too, and we bike from our house to go to the Marshall Mesa Trailhead. There are lots of meltdowns on the way because it's very hot, and it's a long ride, but also just really great experiences. OSMP gives us a variety of ways to passively recreate on these valuable lands, and so yeah, anytime that I can get my kids out there kicking and screaming or whatever it is, it's going on, bribes. I'm super happy about it. So welcome. And let's see, I'm going to move on to the next item from matters from the board. And we're going to do open space, OSBT officer elections. And so I would like, this is always an awkward moment at a meeting. I actually went to watch last year's and it blanked out like sound wise for this section. Just because I wanted to follow the order of operations correctly. So what I will do is open up nominations for each of the 3 positions. I think I have to do the 3rd position as well as secretary, and then see if we have a slate, and then we can vote on it all at once, if that sounds good to everybody. So I'll start with nominations for chair. And Harmon.
I'll nominate you for chair, Michelle.
Why, wonderful. Thank you.
I will second that nomination.
All right, I keep looking at Dave. You can't make it. It's happening. I'll look up at you, Brady and Sarah, see if there's anybody else who wants to make a nomination for the position of chair. All right, Brady. So we have 1 nomination for chair. Thank you, Harmon, and a second. I'd like to open up the floor for nominations for vice chair.
I'll nominate Harmon Zuckerman.
And I'll second
I'll second.
Oh,
I'll second.
So Brady is our second. Okay. Thank you. Any other nominations for vice chair? Arm wrestling? Okay. We have to also, seeing none, I'll move on to secretary. We should nominate a staff member for secretary, and I'll go ahead and nominate you, Leah. We have to go through this, right? Yeah. Okay, I'll nominate. It's my favorite part. Okay. No awkwardness at all.
I only like running for things that are unfun.
I'll third that.
You can. I don't know if it really counts.
It's on the official.
Okay, so we have on this slate myself for chair, and Harmon Zuckerman for vice chair, and Leah for secretary. I'll do a roll call vote.
Yeah, someone can move for all three and it can be a part of the same motion.
Okay, so who wants to move on that slate?
Yeah.
I'll motion that we vote on a slate of Michelle Estrella for chair, Armin Zuckerman for vice chair, and Leah Case for secretary.
It has a new name though.
Oh yeah, Russell.
Sorry.
It's not even that new.
Leah Case might do a better job.
Yeah. I think we need a second on that.
I'll second that motion. Okay, so now I will do a roll call for that motion, and I'll just keep with alphabetical. I'll start with Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
And Trustee Glenn.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
And Trustee Zuckerman.
Yes.
Okay, and I also vote for that. So the vote is unanimous. And we now have our officers for this next cycle. Thank you. And I hope to do this board justice. And I want to thank Dave for kind of mentoring me through this last year anyway. But and my main goal is, of course, to serve the community and my fellow trustees and to end our meetings by 9. Okay. Okay. Except when necessary, of course, and we need to go on. Okay, so that's our elections, and I will move on to our outgoing board member proclamation. And as I mentioned earlier, this March was Chair Kunz's last meeting, and we're very, very sad about that. And I'm going to read this very long proclamation. I'm going to try to do that so I can one up John on long things to read at board meetings. I'm sure I'll flub it up. And open the floor for my fellow trustees to say any parting words for Dave. I think we have a couple of gifts to hand off to you as well. So I'm going to have like a deep breath before reading this long thing. Dave Kuntz joined the Open Space Board of Trustees in 2019. The previous, after the title?
You should.
Okay.
Proclamation.
Proclamation. A proclamation recognizing the dedication and volunteer service of Dave Kuntz to open space and mountain parks 2019 to 2024. Thanks. Okay, so I'll start over. Dave Kuntz joined the Open Space Board of Trustees in 2019. Though previous to joining the board, Dave has been a longstanding advocate Dave has been a strong advocate of applied science and research on OSMP lands, including providing support for the funded research program and the Front Range Open Space Research Symposium. Dave has contributed over 1,687 volunteer hours in recent years, spent as a member of the Open Space Board of Trustees. And I'm sure you faithfully logged every hour according to Janelle's strict rule, right? I'm also supposed to do this commentary. Is that right, Leah? I'll stop. Okay, so I got distracted. Where was I? As chair, Dave has helped to lead the board through robust discussions and actions, including enhancing the OSMP Wildfire Resiliency Program, the OSMP annual budget, and restoring irrigated agricultural lands impaired by the presence of prairie dogs. Dave has contributed to the expansion of 3 state natural areas on OSMP and establishment of 1 new state natural area that anchors the southernmost part of the OSMP system. Dave was a leader in the process to assign management area designations to dozens of additional OSMP properties. Dave was additionally a partner in building city relations with over a dozen American Indian tribal nations, including participating in the development of a site management plan for OSMP's Fort Chambers Poor Farm property, along with Cheyenne and Arapaho representatives. Dave provided focused and thorough consideration of the South Boulder Creek Flood Mitigation Project. While Dave was a member of the OSBT, habitat management to protect nesting raptors assisted with production of, these are impressive, of 13 prairie falcons, 27 peregrine falcons, 11 golden eagles, 18 bald eagles, 13 northern harrier, 41 burrowing owl, and 42 osprey. Therefore, I, Michelle Estrella, Vice Chair of the Open Space, is that right? Yeah, I'm Vice Chair, okay, of the Open Space Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim that the leadership exhibited by Dave Coons over the past 5 years has been instrumental to the success of this board and the Open Space and Mountain Parks Department. Proclaimed this day, this 10th day of April in the year 2024 on behalf of the Open Space Board of Trustees and the Open Space and Mountain Parks Department.
Okay. Thank you very much. I certainly appreciate that. You know, it's with a bittersweet feeling that we're arrived at this point. I have greatly appreciated working with the staff and the various boards over my tenure, and I think that the program is maturing very well, and certainly is well situated to meet future challenges and accomplishments. So I really thank you all for that. And as far as the proclamation is concerned, I've always seen it as a team effort. And so for me, you know, having the board and the staff participating in what I think is one of the most important things that a community can do, and that is establish a relationship with the natural environment in which it exists. You know, and one of the things for me is that I'm going to urge us not to forget is that, and this may sound somewhat anthropomorphic, but, you know, I really do think the land remembers, and that we should not forget that that is what's happening out in the natural environment, and that we should take very careful and deliberate actions and decisions to make sure that the natural environment, you know, continues into the future for our children and grandchildren and their children as well. So thank you again very much. It's been a long road, of which being a member of the Open Space Board was kind of the culmination. You know, it didn't start out to be the destination, but I think from my perspective, for me, it kind of wrapped my career up very well. And again, thank you all for that, and for working with me. I've really appreciated it. So thank you.
Dave, you're so modest. But yeah, if you would like to...
Dave, I really enjoyed working with you on the board. I learned a lot working with you. You know, I have a much better appreciation for, you know, the natural values of the land, you know, that we're stewarding. And I hope I can still call you when I have weird questions about things that happened in Boulder a long time ago, because you've been an invaluable resource.
I won't tell you how long I've been here.
Don't change your phone number.
Yeah. Thank you. Ready?
Is it my turn?
Go for it.
Okay, Dave, I've been told to keep this brief, so I'm going to try to do that. But there's a few things come to mind. I haven't known you for very long, but you are a man of integrity. That is just so clear in your actions and in your words. You're passionate, you're wise, And in spite of all of your experience, you're still curious, which I got to see when you and I, one of my favorite things I've done so far on the board was when you and I got to meet with some neighbors and passionate neighbors in the northern agricultural lands and sit down for some iced tea and learn about their perspective on our management practices. And I learned a lot about prairie dogs. And I saw your curiosity and your openness to hearing new voices and changing your views. And, you know, in spite of ourselves, I think in this relatively small community, sometimes we emulate the partisan politics that I think so many of us dislike at the national level. And I never saw you do that. And even when you and I disagreed, you did so with grace. And I'm really going to miss your wisdom and your demeanor on the board. And I think finally, just as evidenced by what you just said, you're a guardian and an advocate. You're a voice of nature and wildlife, and you do so with respect. And I hope you continue to do that. And I really will miss you on the board. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Brady. I want to tell you and everyone here, I'm going to miss all of you very much. But trust me that I'll be paying careful attention and may on a rare occasion get in touch with one of you. So, but thank you very much. I appreciate those words.
Right done
now. Well, Dave, I hope that we get a chance to see each other as you complete, or you know, make sure that you've completed all of the legs of the trail system. Maybe I can accompany you on a few of those hikes. I feel really warmly towards you. You gave me such a great welcome when I came to this board at in the fall of last year, and just I've sat on boards before, and I haven't run into anybody who exhibited so much knowledge and dedication on any other board as you have on this board, and just your generosity of your time and your spirit that you give to everyone is just so exemplary. And I think you know, maybe the fact that you know, you look so young and you're so fit is just the good living that you have made sure to treat yourself to on this land on all, you know, for all these years. It comes across just your love of what you do, and I'm not surprised to hear that this is a culmination for you, especially having served on staff for so long. And I'm glad I caught a little bit of it, so I could get a little bit of that energy from you. So thanks so much.
Thank you. I appreciate those generous words, but I'm not sure I recognize the person you're talking about.
So modest. So David, my time on the board, I have found you to be very grounded, very kind, and we didn't agree on everything. Sometimes we didn't agree on a lot of things, actually, but you still took the time and to impart your wisdom, and also teach me how to read maps, which I actually still don't know how to read maps. So I don't know what we're going to do there, but you spread out the maps and like walked me through every place on the system where we were considering e-bikes. And we talked through like every single feature of that particular area. And I really appreciated all of that. Also your calls every Monday morning to make sure we had read the packet and really just to see if we had any questions. I'm going to miss those, and we'll try to actually.
No, you're going to do those.
Yes, I'm going to miss those calls from you. And yes, I will actually do those. Yes, correct. You read the packet, right? And
Michelle already started, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You trained her well.
Yeah. Well, give me a call every once in a while. I read the packet for today's meeting as well.
Yes. Yeah, don't change your number. We're going to still be calling you. So yeah, please continue to take our calls. We have a small gift for you. I know like during COVID times, like we didn't actually get to use this gavel, but until we started to meet personally. And so we customized a water bottle for you, and it has your name and a photo or a picture of a gavel.
Dave, I still remember how delighted you were the first time you got to hit the hammer on the piece of wood at the end of the meeting. It was really touching.
It was a great feeling, Brady. Oh, this is a water bottle. It's a big one. Oh. That's great. So there's the gavel, and there's my name. And so I can definitely remember. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. And then I think staff would like to say a few things too.
Yeah, Dave, you're sort of that crossover person, right? I think a lot of us know, but Dave sort of has served in sort of all three chairs. He's been an agency partner to this department, serving in state natural areas, part of Colorado government, and was a partner to us, and actually was, when we had very little staff, was very instrumental as a mentor and as a subject matter expert when we were establishing state natural areas on our system. And then, of course, he joined the staff and was a staff member for many years, and put his mark on in the planning area department, in particular for the organization. And then, of course, he's moved over for the last 5 years as a board of trustee and making recommendations on policy and plans. And so you managed to capture all three areas that we delve into, and I personally have really gained a lot from that trifecta that you brought to the table, because I think to be a really successful land manager leader, is you got to obviously have a vision for what's coming up. You know, what are those issues we need to be looking out for? And even if they don't come to fruition, just thinking through that what if, and kind of working from that point, and then closing the gap of how you would address it is so valuable. But in order to be effective at that, you have to have a deep understanding of what's gone before you. And that's sort of the position you played for me. And many of you don't know this, but Dave and I, at least once a month, tried to get out on our system together and go take a walk. Sometimes we had agendas. Most of the time it was just conversations, and we kind of, whatever subject matter came up on that particular walk, we would just dive into. But it was an hour and a half, typically, sometimes 2 hours, and just talking a lot about the system, its history. I learned a lot about names of the past and a little bit more in depth. And you were really instrumental for me in sort of building that bridge to what came before. And so I hopefully will be a better leader because of you, being able to look back as well as forward now in a much deeper way. So just really value all your insights. We're fellow Wisconsin people. We had that in common. And so, yeah, just I'll miss you. I'll miss our talks, and I'm sure we'll have some more. But thank you for all your service in all those three areas over the years. You can take a lot of pride in what you've brought, to everything that you touched, and especially this system. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. I cherish those times that we did have for informal conversation. Out on the land. They were, I think, very important from my perspective, and I always look forward to them. And I think I've certainly welcomed the leadership that you've provided the department since you took over as director, and so thank you for that as well.
Thanks, Dave. And back to your point that the land remembers, we were reminded of that when our tribal representatives were here last month, and that was just like, yeah, connecting your thoughts and their long-standing relationship with the land, and keeping that in mind. Thank you for that. And you can I move on?
Yeah.
Mainly because we're going to go to written information items, but I just want to observe, and I don't know how long you want to stay, Dave, as our special guest. You're welcome to stay as long as you want. But that many of the items that were on your proclamation are actually on our business tonight, right? I don't know, but yes.
I better get out early.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just want the board presenting you with it. The staff also put together a little parting gift. It's laying down in front of you. I don't know if you've peeked at it yet.
I have not. I was told I shouldn't.
But Leah, you maybe have the story this location? And
Should I?
you're gonna have
Yeah,
a guess first, right?
Oh, just to guess the location. That's a good idea.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Boy, that's beautiful.
It's off of the High Plains Trail, the Southern Grasslands HCA, which I
Great.
know.
We have a cabin about near Rocky Mountain National Park, and this will go very nicely in it. So thank you very much for everyone that was involved and participated in this. It's really beautiful. And it, Dan mentioned that we both came from Wisconsin. I first got now a little knowledgeable about prairie grasslands in Wisconsin. Actually, the tallgrass prairie biome exists kind of on the northern edge up into southern Wisconsin, and one of the world's foremost and famous ecologists, Aldo Leopold, taught at the University of Wisconsin, and that's where I first became interested in prairies. And this is just a little brief aside. But when I was working for the State Department of Natural Resources, I would take the bus, down. Our office was down near, the Capitol, downtown Denver, and it was weird. As we were going up Davidson Mesa, or coming down Davidson Mesa, I'd look out and I'd see all this in the fall, all this red grass out there, and it's like, geez, that looks just like tallgrass prairie. And the University of Wisconsin Arboretum, which Leopold actually was instrumental in starting, was very famous for its prairie restoration. And my family lived very close to the Arboretum, and so we would go there frequently. And so when I looked out the window coming off of Davidson Mesa, it was like, whoa. That is exactly what it looks like in the Arboretum in Madison. And so that's kind of the first time that, and this was, when was that? We came to Boulder in 1970, and that was in about 1977 that I first noticed that. But anyway, this is really near and dear to my heart. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your service, Dave. Okay, now I will move to the next item under matters from the board. This is where we open up questions for trustees about the written information provided in the packet. And we'll start with the wildland wildfire resilient landscapes. Do we have questions, comments on this particular information?
I just have one.
Go for it, Harvey.
So I was just wondering if, I was talking about mowing areas next to housing, but for the most part, down to 4 to 6 inches a couple of times this season. Is there any thought about overseeding with native and fire resistant veg as part of that, or is it just purely cutting the grass?
I think we have Ryan on the phone too, but Heather, it seems like more of the ecological question. So why don't you?
Yeah, I think at this point, this pilot is largely just kind of managing what is there, and the conditions on the ground vary greatly. Some of this is non-native, some of it's fantastic native grasses. So I think for now, we're going to be just focusing on the fuels mitigation. And if there are areas where in concert with that, it would make sense to do some restoration, we would probably identify those this year and maybe look at that in future years. But that's definitely not included in this current pilot.
Okay, thanks.
I think the monitoring is just keeping an eye to see if there's any unintended consequence, especially to the native system. Like, we don't think there will be, but obviously that's something in this pilot that we want to keep an eye out on. And we'll be back next month in person rather than a memo to talk about this program in some more detail.
Cool. Yeah, I enjoyed when we were talking about it on our retreat in one of those 4 areas in Wonderland.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So I had some context for that work.
Other questions, comments? If not, I would just like to ask, what is the communication plan for the rollout of this program, or this pilot? The timing?
Yeah, so
we're meeting again next month.
Yep, that is one area that we will build out in some more detail for you all for next month. But actually the communication is already beginning because staff is on site and we've actually entertained a number of one-on-one conversations as we've been on the other side of the fence and landowners. So sort of that informal work has already begun. But we put a section in here describing the outreach that we'll be doing, including direct mailers to those neighborhoods that we'll be in, and all of that will start to be rolled out within the next month. I mean, this is early summer, late spring kind of effort. So next month when we come to the board, we can provide some dates to you as far as when specific things are going to happen. But the month of May and month of June will be big months for more targeted outreach. And of course, with staff out there, making sure whoever's out there is trained up enough to have those conversations with those landowners where we'll be creating some noise. So,
will there be any social media push for this at all? I mean, it's okay if it's not, but I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know, Brian, if you or Paul want to, if you're able to hop in with any sort of details, and of course we'll come back more with next month, but feel free to hop on with filling in some details here.
Yeah, hi, Michelle. As Dan said, we can look into that. We weren't planning on doing too much in terms of social media engagement. Nextdoor is a platform we often use to have a little more targeted approach. But I think we are treating this as sort of a light approach and a targeted to specific neighbors that will be impacted so as to not over advertise it and create more demand than we're ready to service with the pilot program in 2024.
Seems reasonable to me. And we look forward to talking about this next month.
Okay.
I'll move on to funded research program update. Questions, comments on that? Yeah, these are all Dave's favorite topics. Seeing none, how about the Colorado Highway 7 Arapahoe Road multimodal corridor study?
I did have one. At the end, it says it'll require considerable right-of-way acquisitions by CDOT, triggering the disposal process. Do we have a sense for how much land we're talking about at this point, or is it still?
Yeah, they're going to be moving into 15% design, as so as when they move from like conceptual feasible, and then they start actually putting the design in place, we're going to start probably getting some numbers. The one thing in terms of the disposal process, so CDOT obviously has condemnation authority. So we're very much hoping that when we get into the situation that it can be a partnership conversation at the table. Right now, there's no funding for this project beyond just creating up to a 15% design, which is fairly minimal. So we're not even sure of the timing, but and when in the future those conversations start to need to take place in more detail. But to answer your question, we probably will start to get a really good feel of what those impacts will be in this next round of design. And Bethany, if I said anything incorrect, feel free to hop on and correct me, but thanks.
Nope, you got it.
Awesome. Would the multi-use path along the road offer any opportunities to connect with open space trailheads or other trails in the area?
Yeah, it does offer the opportunity to connect with the Teller Farm, South Teller, I believe it is, trailhead. And so we are, that is a consideration in looking at the overall impacts and benefits as we continue to study this along with CDOT.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I was just wondering what kind of receptiveness you think we're going to see from CDOT in terms of our comments, because on their design, for example, because when you look at it, the section that they provided, it's pretty extraordinary amount of pavement. And that center turn lane looks like it's about 22 feet wide. And they didn't measure it, but it's what it looks like. And there just aren't that many reasons that one would have to turn. You know, you could see using some more pervious surface, for example, except for in the areas where you might have intersection turns. And I just think that there's, you know, what they're doing if they intend to put, you know, a mile or two of, you know, that sort of pavement section out there, it's so counter to the principles that we're trying to provide for here. You know, they're creating urban heat islands. They're wasting all kinds of, you know, fossil fuels and other resources. They're shedding water that's polluted on all kinds of land. And it's like, why would you do that? I'd want to comment on all that.
Yeah, good questions. Maybe two things. One is CDOT is obviously the driver in the lead, but we also are around the table with, I don't, would it be safe to say over a dozen jurisdictions and agencies and
yeah, as you might imagine, between obviously 63rd and 287 in Lafayette, there are numerous stakeholders that have been involved. It is a significant widening, or represents right now the design or the alternative that is being advanced represents a significant widening and a lot, as you pointed out, a lot of pavement. We are obviously, they are receptive to our comments and our input. As far as open space impacts, everybody here knows the Rappo Road is pretty straight. is a pretty straight corridor. So asking them to kind of weave around things or things like that is unlikely. We're also balancing that from a citywide perspective. It's a priority. You know, it's a fairly favored and priority project. Lots of commuters into, you know, coming into the city, and so, but they are, you know, they're doing a lot to weigh all stakeholder input, and again, they are, you know, barely to 15% design. So, but we also again have to take into account that their proposal is to widen and add multi-use path and to have a pretty straight corridor. So. And we're on both sides a lot of the way. So, you know, we continue to put our comments in as far as agricultural, irrigation, some natural resource impact, not as significant as other projects we've seen in terms of that input, but definitely a great deal of potential agricultural impacts and such that we're continuing to comment on, and they are receptive to our comments.
Harmon, I just want to chime in. I sorry, it's hard to know when to jump in when you're online. Excuse me, but I just wanted to say that my cursory look at the proposal, I had a similar reaction to you. It looks like a lot of pavement. And the only thing I'll say, then I also reflected on the number of times I've been stuck in traffic waiting for someone to try to turn left. So I'm sure all those things are in play.
Yeah, so it's just to follow up. I mean, I just don't see the purpose of having, you know, continuous center turn lane that, you know, where there are no turns, for example.
Right.
So, you know, I just think that, you know, if they're only at 15%, I think we should try to, you know, my hope is that you know, if there's an opportunity and you want to work with me, that's fine. If it's, you know, if it's just coming from staff and you're working with your agency partners at CDOT, that's fine too. But I would think that, you know, better that we're at 15% now and we start squawking about, hey, you know, there's a lot of pavement there. You know, let's try to do some things that are a little bit better for you know, the world, because you start adding up, you know, the project over the linear feet of the project, and then, you know, you can start talking about, oh, there's going to be enough concrete to build 16 Empire State Buildings.
Yeah.
You know, we can avoid half of that.
Yes.
With the design of better road.
Well, and we did, to your point, at least related to the two-way left turn, we did ask them to analyze why is it needed in, you know, where a lot of it is our property. And they did show us in terms of the A cell, D cell potential of it between where there are high impact left turns. I think it's called Willow Creek, Willow something neighborhood, the equestrian center that has a great deal of visitation. They actually showed us, and it would, if they brought it down, they'd immediately have to widen it. And so they have shown us that, and I'm happy to share that when we do, kind of look a little bit deeper into the analysis.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Any questions on the draft 2025 work plan and budget memo staff provided?
I just want to say thanks, and by my reading of the milestones, it looks like the timeline has significantly moved up and changed since last year in response to our comments and feedback, and I'm sure there's a lot more that goes into this than I'll ever know, so appreciate the effort and the responsiveness.
Pardon?
So, I know you kind of explained it in the staff memo, but the biggest jump in revenue were on those line items that had audits. And I know you explained that it was because there were more staff on the audit teams. But could you just give a little bit more color about how we were able to recover such a lot more money from what might have otherwise gone to the general fund? I don't know.
Yeah, this is a citywide process there. So Sam probably would be the best person.
Yeah, I can answer and then let me know if you have additional questions. So in speaking with the team that performs audits, it is really, they are staffed up more and can perform more of those audits. So we get a percentage, just like we do for the sales tax, we get a percentage of the audit collections for the city. And so what you're seeing is our portion of that. Yes, they have gone up significantly. You'll see the actual dollar amounts may not be huge in certain categories, but for us, the percentage went up a lot. And typically we haven't seen a lot of movement in those categories. So it was significant for us this year. From 22 to 23, and was significant enough for us to chat and just get an understanding of why that would have gone up.
So Sam, I guess my question, to make it maybe a little more clear for you, is I just didn't understand whether it was because the city was collecting more money that it used to be leaving on the table, and therefore we were getting our little share of more money, or if it was that there was money that the city was collecting that should have been earmarked for us and that didn't get to us until we put more people on the audits. That's what I couldn't understand.
Yeah, I don't know if I can confidently answer that right now. I can check in with the team and include that in our next month's memo. Just in gathering information from them, because it was a staffing increase, that was where the number of audits is my understanding of what went up. So I'll get some more information and include it in next month's memo.
Okay.
Address it. Yeah. Or we can send an email or something.
Yeah, sure. Part of it, and this is outdated information, so I think we should still ask. The city launched a new tax software, a new system through which businesses are able to remit their taxes, and did a lot of community outreach around what the rules, regulations, how to participate in that new software, how to get set up in it. So they were doing a lot of outreach around compliance in the business community through that process. In terms of, I believe of the two options, it's the former, that we are collecting more money that we previously weren't as a city, and not that we should have been getting some that we weren't. The way, just for context, because as we get into budget season, we'll talk about cost allocation, but the way that team is staffed, we are charged a percentage of the FTE out of that staff team to do that work on our behalf, and then we get our share of the revenue. So I don't think it would have been, the cost allocation model is like we're getting charged for their staff time, and not the revenues piece of that is handled separately, where it's automatically remitted through that system.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Thanks. Well, we have a few more touches on budget. Okay, we are going to move the matters from the department, but however, we have a lot of visitors, special guests tonight. So, what's that? Yes, minutes. Thank you. I'm so skipping a whole thread. Yeah, scrolling on down.
You're right. We are going to know by now. How many bars does it?
Sure. Thank you. The liquor didn't give me like the evil eye. I tell you. Okay. Approval of the minutes. So that is our next section. And what the way we do this, we've done this in the past, is go page by page and see if we have any comments or changes on the minutes. And Dave, you can't vote on this, and neither can you, Sarah. But feel free to, let's go to page 1, and I'll try to look up and see on page 1, do we have any comments and suggestions for changes?
So great set of minutes, and I only have one suggestion. David Gear was a guest as well, and he's not listed under guest. Thanks.
Any others on page 1? Page 2. Not seeing any. And page 3 of the minutes. Any comments or changes? Okay, so do we have we need a motion to approve the minutes? Do we have one?
Okay. So I'll move that we approve the minutes from the March 13th, 2024 OSBT meeting with the one change in the record.
I'll second that motion.
John seconded, and I'll do a roll call. Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
And Trustee Zuckerman?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So it passes unanimously, and Steve saying yes. Okay, so now we are going to have Sam read the rules of decorum. Is that right?
Yes. I'm just going to pull those up now. So the city has engaged with community members to co-create a vision for productive and meaningful and inclusive civic conversations. This vision supports physical and emotional safety for community members, staff, and board commission members, as well as democracy for people of all ages, identities, lived experiences, and political perspectives. For more information about this vision and the community engagement process, please visit this link. The following are examples of rules of decorum found in the Boulder Revised Code and other guidelines that support this vision. These will be upheld during this meeting. All remarks and testimony shall be limited to matters related to city business. No participant shall make threats or use other forms of intimidation against any person. Obscenity, racial epithets, and other speech and behavior that disrupts or otherwise impedes the ability to conduct the meeting are prohibited. Participants are required to sign up to speak using the name they are commonly known by, and individuals must display their whole name before being allowed to speak online. Currently, only audio testimony is permitted online. And we don't have anyone joining by phone right now, but if you are joining from your computer and you would like to speak, you'll raise your hand to do that. You will either see a raise hand icon at the bottom of your screen, or you can click on the participants icon, the 3 dots on the bottom right, and then select raise hand. Okay, so I will begin this section of open comment.
Okay, so public comment is open. And do we have anybody signed up in advance?
We don't have anyone signed up in advance. Okay. So we'll go to participants online. And so far we have 1 hand. Just a reminder to please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. So our hand is from Lynn Siegel. And we're going to get the timer up. And then I will.
See the timer yet?
It usually gives us, oh, there we go.
And I'll
start we start. Yeah. Lynn, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Yeah, Lynn Siegel. I do have threats. The threat of you not having enough money to do what you need to do in open space. Does that count? Just saying. You know, when you make these overall statements, don't threaten. Well, that is an imminent threat that we have in this community from the overbuilding and the infill and the density. People in multi-level high rises want to get out of them. They want to get to the open space that we can't afford, $300 million deficit or what have you. You know, shame on all of you for firing Caroline Miller. That was so unbelievably unconscionable and unethical. I am ashamed of all of you for doing anything to her. She was against you, CU South, or at least I think she was. And that's the best thing that you could be doing on this board, is to stop this incessant growth in Boulder, because the higher the high rises, the bigger your obligation and the bigger the threat to the funding to take care of the open space that we have. My dad came here in the late 40s. He went to school here. He thought Boulder was too big then at 30,000 or something like that. Think again what you were doing. You need to recommend, the first thing you should be doing is recommending to all the other boards that we need to balance jobs and housing. Otherwise, jobs chase housing, housing chases jobs in this eternal spiral of growth. And low-income housing tax credits drive it from the federal government because, oh, we get free money for more affordable housing. And then they don't do it on site, and it's not required to be on site. And it's put in a fund, and it's always higher and bigger and more, and the developers don't pay. And they need to pay for their impact in Boulder. Not just 25% inclusionary housing, they need about 140% inclusionary housing to really be able to even touch it, because this has been unattended to for so long. And you, as the Open Space Board of Trustees, as my representatives for open space, this is your duty to do. I heard Dave talking about children and grandchildren appreciating open space. My grandchildren won't be able to appreciate this open space. That it's coming soon enough. We don't have the funding to be able to support the intensity of growth we have in this community. And you need to do something about it, because it's stuck upon you to pay for it. So do something yesterday.
Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate your public input tonight. I know we've addressed the comment about deficits in the open space budget. And I don't know if we can just briefly discuss the inaccuracy of this portrayal of open space having a budget deficit.
No, we produce the balanced budget every year.
Thank you. Okay, so I am gonna, any more hands, Sam?
I'm not seeing any other hands. No.
Thank you. So I'll go ahead and close public testimony, and we'll do can I do now? A quick transition. Let's call it 5 minutes, because I know we have special guests coming in. So we are at about 7 o'clock. We'll be plan on coming back online at 7:05. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Resume the recording. We're all set.
Okay, I'm going to hand this section over to Dan for matters from the department.
Yeah, and I'm going to quickly transition over to Janelle Prieston, but I'll just mention for Sarah's. So April is a wonderful month for board meetings, because it is traditionally the month where we honor our volunteers and all of those that are helping to support this collective effort of stewarding our open spaces. And so this is usually a time for us to acknowledge our volunteer program, our volunteers themselves, the staff that work with our volunteers, and we actually do a proclamation as well. And tonight is extra special because we've got some guests and volunteers in the room here tonight that we're going to profile. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Janelle. Where's Janelle? There she is.
So yeah, good evening. Janelle Prieston, as you know, Community Connections Deputy Director. And yeah, tonight you'll be hearing a little bit from me, as well as Debbie Cushman, who is our volunteerism and service learning program manager, as well as other staff and some volunteers and partners in the room. And so we're really excited to share more about the impact that volunteers and partners had this last year in 2023. And so, yeah. Great. So tonight I'll take you through our presentation outline. There we go. In just a minute, I'll tell you a little bit more about the Volunteer Service Learning and Partnerships team. We go by VSLP for short. And then we'll talk about impact. We'll go into plans for the future. Then we'll have that proclamation, and then we'll finish up. We'll have time for questions. So this is our team right here from left to right. I won't read out all of the names. You'll meet, again, some of us here tonight. Really exciting team. These teams work on, again, volunteerism, the Junior Ranger Youth Corps program, one-day projects for volunteers, and also the Ready to Work Bridge House program. So a lot of ways we are the conduit, we feel like, to connect the community to OSMP through hands-on ways. And you can see right there, our vision is to really create a community of stewards who want to give back to OSMP. And then we also have other staff members, this next slide, who work with us really closely as well. They're just not a part of our work group per se, but that is Bo Clark there to the left, and then Dave Berry on the right. They're in the Trails, they're housed in the Trails program, and they also run a lot of volunteer efforts that we're really proud of, and we'll tell you more about later. I also want to make a mention, we are a part of a larger citywide effort, the Volunteer Cooperative, and that was created after the 2013 floods to really bring the whole community together, a one-stop shop to share resources and to build a community of stewards. And we're really proud. We are one of only several municipalities in the whole country that are service enterprise certified, which means that we leverage volunteers at all levels of the organization and that we have buy-in from leadership, which we absolutely do. And we'll be getting reaccreditation for that this year. And then, yeah. Great, so now we'll be moving into the 2023 impact, and I'll be kicking it over to Debbie Cushman.
All right, thank you all, nice to be here. So this first slide is just, and I can't turn off that webinar is being recorded. I don't know. If
that's it's on here. Let me see if I can get
thanks. I know I was trying to. There we go. Thank you. This first slide, I just wanted to show you how all our VSLP programs are supporting the master plan implementation. And as you can see, we have checked a lot of the boxes, which is really exciting for us as a team that we're involved in all of them. Not everything, but in a lot of these endeavors you see out on the land. So super exciting work for us. I printed mine so small that I can't read them, and I thought I could read you a couple, but I don't know if anyone who's sitting closer wants to read any. But
it was in the memo too.
It was in the memo. So
you read the memo.
You read the memo, yeah. Moving on to some trends. You can see these are our volunteer participation numbers from 2008 to 2023. So of course, we had pre-flood numbers, and then lots of people wanted to help out in the community, which was awesome. And we have lots of volunteers on the land, and we took a dip during COVID. So we're kind of slowly working to get our way back up to our post-COVID numbers. We had a little increase in 2023. So we had 1,700 volunteers out on the land, and we have almost 20,000 hours of work that they put in, which was really exciting. We're finding a few trends at Open Space that's fewer volunteers are making a bigger impact. So kudos to the volunteers who are working for us. They're really getting out there, like our trail ambassadors, where we'll ask them to do about 2 hikes a month is the commitment. We're finding they're doing anywhere from, I'd say, 2 to 10 hikes a month. So they're really out there in their uniforms and presence on the land. We're also focusing on some new strategies for retention. And we're finding that our volunteer kind of cadre is aging and retiring. So some work I need to do is looking at how we pull in new volunteers and new communities to work with us. A few other trends that are happening nationally, we like to look at the national trends too to see how we're doing. One of them is that post-COVID, folks are really looking for ways to get involved in the community. So Chris Weinberger, who's sitting across from me in the room, who works on one-day projects I'll tell you about in a minute, and Bo Clark and Dave, they're getting a lot of requests from groups, which is great to do some community building projects and come back out onto the land. The delay. So I'm going to jump in and talk about one-day projects. We kind of divide our team internally into one-day volunteer programs and ongoing volunteer programs, which is what I manage. And I'm going to start with the one-day volunteer projects. So these are our highlights from 2023. So this team is expertly run by Chris Weinberger and Bo Clark in the Trails Department and Dave Berry in the Trailheads Department. And they had almost 1,500 volunteers that contributed over 8,000 hours. As you can see, 76 youth volunteers. And the Trailheads team coordinated 275 community service individuals to be out on the land helping. This is Bo Clark's trail information, which is really great. Bo has a great, robust program. He has a lot of communities coming out to help. So the whole right side of the screen shows a lot of the partners that came out to build trail with us this year. Bo's kind of focus project, you can see in the far left bottom, is the North Sky Trail that we're super excited to see that will be completed. We're hoping by June into the summer. So
early July now. Okay.
Early July, we'll take it. As long as I can ride my mountain bike on that trail. I've been looking forward to that for years. Michelle.
Yes.
But Bo does just an incredible job. I did get to go out one day. I didn't really build a trail because I have bad shoulders, but I did go out on one very hot July day to visit a crew that was out working with him. And he does all these teams, and then on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, he has these trail days where any individual in the community can come out, and he'll get 10 to 15 folks out there on some really scorching hot days. And they are working hard, and it was just fabulous to see the work out there. These are a lot of the one-day programs that Chris runs out of her department. Native seed collections, Boulder Creek cleanups, chipping with the forestry crews, native plantings, invasive plant management. And then the one we want to highlight tonight is the Light Root Community Farm partnership with Boulder Natural Highs. And I am gonna turn it over to Janelle to introduce that program.
So this is gonna be the more interactive part of the evening because we have special guests here. I'll take a minute just to tell you, in the memo we mentioned again tonight, right, we're going to be talking about some programs that are long-standing that we've been offering for decades. And then we also are really proud about some new innovative programs that we piloted, and this is one of them. And so we're really proud that it won the City of Boulder Innovation Award for the City Employee Values Awards in 2023, and for good reason. So OSMP staff member Chris Weinberger, Lauren Kolb, Andy Peltzer, who's not here tonight, David Ford, who's not here tonight, as well as support from Janet Michaels from City Attorney's Office. They helped to create this program and partnership on our Hunter Kolb property, which is stewarded by Daphne and Cameron, Daphne Kinsley and Cameron Genter of Light Root Community Farm, and also in partnership with Avani, who's the founder of Boulder Natural Highs, to create programs to connect teens to our land and to learn more about agriculture, to learn about wellness, and to really see the power of plants. And I'll stop there. I want to turn it over to you all to share some testimonies and some experiences and impact and what this program really meant for all of you.
Should I start kind of farms? I'm Cameron and Genter is Daphne. Right? We leased the Hunter Kolb property on Arapahoe and 75th Street. And so we've been there for like 5 or 6 years now.
Going into our 6th year on that.
Right.
Property.
So when we originally developed the farm, it's just we run a dairy. We have pigs, chickens, draft animal power, horses, and hay, pasture, some veggies. It's kind of just a diverse regenerative farm. But we've always worked with students, education, kids of all ages. And then I guess a few years ago, I think around COVID, we started to get more requests for people to come they want to connect more to the farm beyond education, adults, and
like beyond just like a school field trip program, or we were doing more school programs specifically, but there was another need that kind of came in during that time where people were not, just wanting to connect in a new way on the farm.
Kind of therapeutic, if you will, the connection. Obviously, there's milk and eggs and vegetables and meat.
And that's one way to connect.
Right. But then there's another way, obviously on Arapahoe and 75th, busy road. We're really an urban farm, and people want to connect, and so basically the way we run the farm and set it up, we have we take care of the animals really well. We take care of everything really well. So when you come onto the farm, you feel a sense of love, I guess you could say, in a way, just care. And we love to, we like it when people come in to connect, and we like to facilitate that connection. So Chris Weinberger helped connect us with Natural Highs and Avani, who's amazing, been doing this for such a long time, 20 years or more, 25. And so we started hosting the Avani Natural Highs team group last year. So I guess that was when we started, but it was an amazing year. It was just, just kept building as the year gone on, and the same kids would come and new kids would come. And it was like the more they were there, the more deeper they got, and the more connection they felt. And I just remember one story. So just I want to bring up real quick. My daughter plays sports, and one night she had basketball games, right? She's 15, 16 at the time. She's 16 now. And she came back from her basketball games, and I saw her, she was coming in, and she was kind of like, sports. She was sad about the game, or she didn't play good enough. And then the Natural Highs teams were also leaving, and it was a rainbow, and it was raining, and they were just like in bliss. And I'm like, okay, you got sports, and then you have this wonderful farm experience where kids are on the land working and being around each other.
Like nourishing in a different way.
Yeah, drinking tea and the tea ceremony, and just the vibe that you bring Avani is just really awesome. So I just was like, wow, what a beautiful thing. So anyway, you can talk about Natural Highs, maybe?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Issa. I'm one of the teams from Natural Highs, and I'm really delighted to talk about the farm. It's just such an amazing place. Like I keep calling it like heaven on earth, because every time I go, I just like feel like, okay, everything that I thought was wrong is completely fine. Like I went to the farm, everything's fine. But it's just given me and other teens just such an amazing space to go to. And without social media, without being on screens, without connecting, like without having to like connect with substances, and like when you're here, everybody connects on a very deep level, and it's very like just the love, it just goes all around, and it's just such a bliss. It's so blissful. And I just think that like during this time, us teens, there's a lot of things that like are affecting our mental health in ways, and just going to the farm, it's just like taking a break from that. And you also just like learning how, Daphne and Cameron take care of the land, and like how you can do that. It just like sparks all of our interests in the herbs, and all the activities we do, like connecting with the animals and land. It's just such an amazing place to be. And I'm just so grateful that I got to go. I'm so excited I get to go all the time. And I like every time that I'm like, oh, we're going to the farm, and I tell people, like, we get so excited. Yes. We love the farm so much. It's just such an amazing place, and I'm just so grateful that we got connected. And I just so excited for like this summer again to hang out there, because that was like one of the highlights of my summer, was just going to the farm and like hanging out with the animals, doing some gardening, like just such an amazing place. Wish I could be there every day.
I think Issa, you were there like every session. It was wonderful. It's great. Yeah.
And you can see Issa in this photo holding a baby piglets. Yeah. Baby piglets. And they're due soon, right?
Yes.
Yes. Mid-May maybe? We're out with the vet. Yes, to confirm.
There, I can see the ultrasound.
Yeah, so for us doing substance use prevention and mental health support, this is a really, really important collaboration, because as you can imagine, it's a really tough time for teens right now. And a lot of teens feel really desperate and overwhelmed. And then, we can educate, we can talk so much, but then having the opportunity to go into an environment where people can actually experience something different. And I just want to say, I still believe Cameron and Daphne are actually incarnated angels or something, because for a lot of teens, they don't have inspiring adults in front of them or in their lives. They look at the adults in their lives and they're like, I don't want to be an adult. I don't want to survive, being an adult, because it's not inspiring. And so for young people to see a different model of people who are passionate, who are doing something healthy that people can actually respect is a huge deal. And, you know, for us, it was a dream for a very long time because we work with herbs as healthy alternatives to substances. And we want to teach people that herb, when you use an herb for anxiety, it's not a commodity, right? It's not like a Tylenol you take, but it's actually a living relationship that you build. Because one of the things, of course, the reason why people are so depressed is because they don't feel meaning, a sense of meaning. And so we want to teach that if you use something like an herb for anxiety, you're actually connecting with nature. And so here now, this has been our dream for literally 20 years, that we would go full circle, that we would not just use herbs in our classes, but that we would actually go somewhere and plant the herb and watch it grow and care for it. And at the end of the year, actually harvest it and make medicine out of it and make gifts out of it. I mean, there's a satisfaction in that. You know, when you think about drug use, it's like this endless chasing of things. But when you're actually involved with something so healthy and you're putting in the work and you're getting to harvest at the end and you are part of all of that, I just think there's nothing that we could talk in words that would be able to create that, right? So we feel extremely grateful to you and to you for making this possible. And really to the city, right, to preserve this kind of opportunity that farmers can do this kind of holistic farming. I just think it's an incredible, powerful model for teens.
Congratulations on your award, really. Yes. It was really great.
Thank you for doing this. And I brought cards for everybody. So if you want to stay connected with us and just see what we're doing, because we're so small and grassroots, we don't do a lot of marketing, right? So we rely on people like you to know about what we're doing. We do lots and lots of free resources for parents, for teens. So stay connected and spread the word.
Which herbs are you using, and how long are the programs, and what are the age brackets?
So we have run a free Tuesday after school program for high school teens now for over 20 years, every single Tuesday in Boulder. Every high school age teen can just show up. We're also not sorting teens based on challenge, right? So we have teens from the whole spectrum. We have teens who have done drugs. We have teens who have mental health issues. And we have teens who are just passionate about mental health and want to be healthy and want to learn stuff. So that's one of the ways how we reduce stigma, is to not sort people. But we believe that everybody has something to contribute. And so our classes drop in. So we try to reduce all barriers. In terms of how many herbs we use, we have a huge apothecary, right? But I can give you some examples that we have grown last year. So a lot of people don't know, for example, that lemon balm. Do you know about lemon balm?
I studied as midwife therapist, so
So lemon balm is used for anxiety, it's used for lots of things, but what most people don't know about is like one of the main herbs that is now used to help people with focus. So people have issues around ADD. We have grown tulsi, which of course in India is, you know, considered divine. And, you know, I remember the moment we had to clip off the flowers, you know, so the plants keep growing, and we will put them in our mouth and be just like, oh, connecting with the divine, right? I mean, so it's like learning about plants, not just, oh, this is now for this, right? But to actually get in touch and really develop a relationship.
I love that. It just seems like the opposite of the instant gratification that we get from life today, and just that quick hit of social media or drug use or alcohol use. It's just the opposite. You're actually involved in the whole cycle and then reaping the rewards at the end of it. And I think it's amazing, and grateful for all of you for doing that. Esta, am I saying her name right? Isa. If you had just a silly story to share with us of like your experiences, and you shared so much already. If you don't have that, that's okay too. But it seems like it was a very meaningful experience for you, and if you do have anything sort of tangible to share, that would be great. Also, no pressure.
While you're thinking, can I share two things while you're thinking? Two moments, right? That just jumped on me when you said that. I remember somebody sitting there with a pig baby and just saying, I'm cured. I don't have any more mental health problems. I'm cured, literally, right? And this is, I just want to point that out, right? It's not us putting on a program for teens. It's what we're learning together. Like, we did not know that this would have such a profound impact on teens. That's what we're learning while doing it. The other one that jumped on me was Holly saying, I'm going to buy one of these pigs I'm going to have one of these pigs as a pet.
They were in high demand, yes.
I think that project is still in the process, right? So just, some kids want to bring the farm home. That's how good it is.
There's so many. I mean, well, this is really hard. I mean, like, one thing that I love is just like, I would just pick the alfalfa that grows and I would just constantly like just sit there feeding the pigs and feeding the horses, and they just like love it so much. Milking the cows was probably one of my favorite things. I was like, oh, I'm a professional at this. And like, there was one baby cow that was named Cherry.
Yes, Cherry.
And she had like a heart on her head and like a white heart made out of her fur, and it was just so sweet. And I mean, honestly, every time that I go, it's like 2 hours long. I stay like 3 hours, just talking at the end and like spending time with the animals. We rode donkeys one time. That was really cool. I don't know, every time
it was very safe.
Yeah. My body's a professional at that. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, just every time, like, I just feel like the sunsets are just more beautiful. Like, it's just like the scenery is just like, but yeah, I definitely just feel like my best self there. And that's definitely gotten me inspired to like, I want to own a farm one day and like do that, like, and like naturally, and like making my own fertilizer and compost and like things like that, and like having an herb garden. And like I've learned a lot too, and like me and my mom garden every summer, and like I'm like, oh mom, I learned this at the farm, so this is what we're gonna do. Just like there's just so much. I could go off forever, but yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. You did great, by the way. Yeah, and sharing that. I know that it sounds like this has been a rewarding experience for you, and also you're getting some public speaking experience. Yes. I think it's a really nice way to, we often think of recreation, exercise, being outdoors, being in nature as older open space in the way that we're helping heal our youth and our adults as well to stay healthy. I love the way that you're bringing this out to the farms, really showcasing the importance of having hands in the dirt and being on the land and the healing potential of that. So big kudos to you guys.
Such an incredible program. So just to give more context too, in 2022, Lauren and I and the team, we worked in this program for a year. However, I will say, I never knew it was going to be this incredible. So thank you so much, Daphne, Cameron, Amani, Lisa, and all the Boulder High teams that participated. It was really so special beyond anything that we could ever imagine. So I really, truly appreciate it. And we have a gift for you. So Lauren, do you want to give her? Great. Yeah. This is for you. It's for the Innovation Award. This is also your award too. Please know that. There you go. I did it myself.
You did, thank you.
And I just wanted to say we manage a lot of leases on open space, and we get special relationships with each of the tenants that we work with. And I truly value both of you. I mean, I've known you for 11 years now, which is crazy. But to do a good job on the land is one thing, but then to take that and turn it around and help the community is just above and beyond. And we're so appreciative of the work.
Thank you.
Totally.
This needs to be a model, right? I mean, this is, I think, one of the important things to realize. You cannot describe it in words, right?
Yeah.
If you have to be there, you have to visit the farm, you have to feel it, you have to experience, especially these two guys. There's something that words just can't describe.
Mm-hmm. to see the teams too. So if you ever want to come out, our first project is this Saturday. Just let Janelle know. I need project dates. If you ever want to participate, Dan, please come out. You're all welcome.
It's amazing.
Truly, it is amazing.
Had me out last year.
He was gonna pop in and she ended up staying
I
really
was
tired.
really-
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, everybody. I just want to say thanks to Dan and Lauren too. Obviously, we released from open space. If we didn't have that opportunity, we wouldn't be able to do this program. So
It's a good partnership.
It's a great partnership from the ag point, and of course now with more, I guess, volunteers. The topic, maybe, I don't know, but you know, community programming, you know, and the thing about, you know, and David Ford, we've talked to a lot, we work with him a lot on nature-based therapy, and I think what we realize is that nature, you know, you can go to the forest, you're more with your thoughts. It's a little quieter and different, but the farm, you actually can kind of forget about whatever you're swimming in, you can kind of just forget about it, you know, and then for a couple hours, you're out of it. And so you're into another world, and you're a healthy world of soil, plants, animals. And it's like, oh, you know, and you know, we try to be upright as we can for teens and for people to, you know, share our passion. But anyway. Thanks for everybody.
Thank you.
We're all in this together.
Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thank you too. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of our presentation. You also know, I'm sure. Yeah, whatever you need to do.
We get some choices, but thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, go do chores.
Okay, good to see you. Good to see you guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Dan.
See you, Dan.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, well, we're going to keep rolling with our program, though I can hardly top any of that, but we're going to switch from our one-day volunteer projects, and I'm going to walk you through some of our ongoing volunteer programs, and that's the part of the volunteer program that I manage with the help of my one employee, Chance Nelson. And did a little pie chart here to show you kind of everything going on hour-wise and volunteer-wise out on open space. So you can see some of our bigger volunteer programs. So on the top blue over there is our ambassador program. And those are folks who are out on the trail, at the Chautauqua Trailhead, up at the Flagstaff Nature Center, and our new dog ambassadors who are out talking to the public every day, giving advice, help on the land. That orange slice over on the right side, our raptor monitors, another huge dedicated group of volunteers. You all are the gray slice, open space sports. So for 5 of you, you're a pretty mighty slice of the pie. Thank you for your hours. I also for us. The yellow slice are our Chautauqua ambassadors who work at the Ranger Cottage and outside. And again, that's a mighty slice too. And there's only 6 or 7 of them. We're recruiting right now. We're recruiting for a couple programs. I'll mention that throughout. If you know anyone in the community looking for a volunteer job, I'll take them. Bike Patrol is in there, and our volunteer education naturalists are also doing quite a few hours. We do a survey every year to our volunteers to make sure we are, as managers, kind of doing them justice and recognizing them appropriately, giving them what they need to do their job. So in our 2023 survey, I just pulled the first question, which was, please rate your overall satisfaction with your volunteer experience in 2023 on a scale of 1 through 5, and 4.6 is our average. So we think we're doing a pretty good job. We're pretty happy about that. That was out of 70 responses out of about 280 volunteers that give a long-term commitment on open space. They also tell us things in this survey, like how they want to be recognized. We've always done an annual gift for volunteers as long as I've been at this agency, which is about 9 years. So I'm finding it's really maybe not one of their top things, but you just got one. So with that rolled up thing in front of you are your posters of the Flat Irons, which was the annual volunteer gift. So those are for you to take home. Thank you. But what we're really finding is what they love to do is spend time with staff. So small meetings with staff or having staff drop in on projects with them are really how they want to be thanked. They also like things like swag, Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I thought that's great. Yeah, that. They like that we're providing them with things in the field to protect them. So kind of new volunteer items since I've been managing have been these sun hats that you see the Skunk Canyon leaders wearing, new volunteer jackets that in wintertime our ambassadors, they're kind of covered up and you kind of can't tell who they are out on the land. We tried to give them vests. People thought they were from a Guckins because they were green vests. It didn't work. We're going to scratch that. We did some black jackets in the winter. They have OSMP logos on them. We're making very clear that they're volunteers because they are looking very professional out on the land. We do a few other fun thank yous every year. The top left one is actually a citywide thank you. You all should have been invited to it through our Count Me In platform. And those are a bunch of the volunteer cooperative managers that run library volunteer programs, health and human services, Parks and Rec, and open space. We did a big night out at the reservoir for volunteers to come play for an evening. And the lower left one was a holiday party. We did a hike and we were caroling out on the Bluebell Road. And so lots of things going on to recognize our volunteers, but we're also always open to hearing some more ideas. So I'm just going to go through some of our big programs, ongoing programs. Our visitor ambassadors are out on the land. They're either hiking like in the top picture or out at the Chautauqua Trailhead where Rich Wolf is sitting on his rock out there. And again, talking to the public, welcoming, educating, mentoring, modeling behavior, promoting visitor harmony, I always say. And those are the contact numbers listed to their areas. So that is how many people they talk to. They do kind of do a tally, whether it's with a clicker or at the end of their shifts, they report back to us so we know what they're finding, what people need help with out on the land, how we support our visitors to open space. So I get a lot of information back from the ambassadors, but that was over 65,000 public contacts they made. And I boast with the Rangers a lot about how we do more than they do. But they're doing different contacts. Burton and I toss about that one. So, and then our dog ambassadors that is our newest ambassador program. They finished their training at the end of November and are just getting out on the land right now. We're making dog vests, so the dogs are going to have their own uniform. I did put some pictures in of our dog ambassador program since this is new. We started it to kind of in a response to people having dog issues on the land, whether it was safety, dogs and dogs, maybe having confrontations, people not being happy about dogs in certain spots. So we trained 9 volunteers. They have 7 dogs. There's two couples in the program. And we modeled this program after Jeffco and Boulder County both had active dog programs going on already. So lots of talking with them, talking with Humane Society. We worked with our city animal control, and those are 2 of the officers in the top left picture. So they helped us do the training. So these ambassadors went through the full trail ambassador training, and then they had a couple more trainings with us. So again, with learning safety, learning really intensely about the Voice and Sight program to make sure they understand that. And then we actually tested these dogs out in the field to make sure they were going to be perfect dogs. So they were our model dogs. So you can see me super official with a clipboard in my hand in the top right corner. A beautiful day at Cherryvale. And then Chance, kitty corner from me with a big backpack on. So we followed the American Kennel Club Good Citizen kind of test to do. And so we ran it, and then we had one of our rangers, Dave Gustafson, and then the 2 officers from animal control came, and then we were actually making sure their dogs could pass the tests. And yeah, so super fun experience. We're kind of piloting it now, and we'll keep you posted on how this is going. Our resource restoration stewards are another big group we have out volunteering. We have a couple different reading groups. One is our Boulder Creek Path. We're kind of behind the Foothills Hospital. And that's Anjali on the right from that group. And they're out doing everything from Dame's Racket, Motherwort, Sweet Pea, Garlic Mustard, Curly Dock. I will try some mornings to get out because it is actually kind of therapeutic when I can get out at 8 a.m. with them and do a little weeding. The group on the left are Skunk Canyon Weeders. That's a partnership that started 4 years ago. They wanted to start it. Sarah, since that's your hood, maybe we'll see you there. And yeah, so they're out, super committed group of community members who live in that neighborhood. We're kind of thinking how we can expand that. They've been up working on anemone, and they do a lot of myrtle spurge work, unbelievable amounts of hand pulling of myrtle spurge in Skunk Canyon, as well as other weeds. And our last group and our resource folks are native gardeners who work at the Ranger Cottage and the Ann Armstrong Garden there. And I'm recruiting for that position right now too, if you know of anyone who likes to garden and wants to come Wednesday mornings and garden with us. Other ongoing programs are education naturalists. So lots of education work in our ed team. We have 24 trained naturalists right now. We just brought on a new class of 12 that we're in the process of training. And just a couple pictures. The top right is Linda, one of our volunteers, out with Heatherwood School out in the Gun Barrel Hill area doing a prairie lesson. And Brookie's kind of leading a group of younger kids through the woods there. This year, 2023, they really focused on in-school programs in BVSD, which that is a program that volunteers actually created years ago, which is pretty exciting. And they run it still now. They do a lot of the management of that program, the volunteer crew. And but we were hearing from BVSD that we need to align a little bit more with standards and work on our programming in the classroom to engage the kids a little bit. So that is what we're working on there. Did I skip a slide? Yeah. I'm going to go back really quickly because I had one. Yeah.
It's showing up properly online. I think it's just a delay on the
I'm just delayed. So tell me. Okay.
You're good.
There we are.
Catch up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our wildlife monitors, I don't want to forget about them because they give a lot of hours. An important part, 46 wildlife monitors in 2023. They are out monitoring our bat populations as well as our raptor populations and collecting all the data. They send it into our ecologists so they know what's going on out on the land and they can make their management decisions accordingly. Super fun programs. We are recruiting bat volunteers as well right now. That on the right is picture K. I was out with her that night. It looks like a gorgeous night. We were out off the South Mesa Trail at the Dunlin Pond. We got super wet before we saw a single bat that night. We ran. I don't even think I could run anymore, but we ran back to the car. But fun evening. And then on the left, you can see a raptor monitor. I was actually out last week with them in the left-hand Palisades area and left-hand canyon looking at the golden eagles. And they told me, like, don't expect much. And man, I got a show. That was a great day. We got to see a lot of eagles out there on the land. Okay. Past that one. And then you all are one of the big volunteer group that gives an ongoing commitment. So 5 volunteers. You all give about 300 hours each to this program a year is what we figure. Thank you for reporting your hours. I'm going to probably take that over from Janelle this second. We'll talk. Yeah. Back to stay on you all to get hours. Yeah. I can enter them. And Sarah, I'll teach you how we do all that. Okay, my last part of the presentation is our service learning piece of our team. And I am going to start with, again, Chris, who's sitting here tonight, manages our Ready to Work Bridge House program. This is an incredible program. We support 2 crews. They're contracted for close to 9 months during the spring, summer, fall. They're already out on the land working this year. This program has gained considerable capacity over the last 11 years. They work with 10 of our open space groups and management groups out on the ground. And they really rely on these folks to do a lot of heavy work on the land. This group, the Ready to Work group, these are often people experiencing homelessness. And the Bridge House program provides housing, addiction support, counseling, and casework to support them. And then they gain work skills with us out on the land. And it's pretty amazing. And Chris, if you want to say anything else, feel free, but.
Yeah, I can. If you see the picture with the truck in that, that's at Community Farm. We're pulling hay off the field. And so 2 or 3 years ago, I created a wellness program with Community Farm with Daphne and Cameron because they have such a holistic approach. So Ready to Work Crews, they work so ridiculously hard for us. And I wanted to do something to give back. And I'm grew up on a farm in the Midwest, and it was organic before that term was even coined. So I know how restorative, organic, regenerative farms are. So I was like, let's put them with White Root. And it's been phenomenal just to give back to this phenomenal crew. They're going to start this year with the wheat program too. They'll be doing all the cutting with brush cutters too. You're going to hear more about that from Paul Dennison in May. So.
Thank you. And then our last service learning program is our Junior Ranger program, which I'm assuming you've all heard about. Natasha usually comes August or September and does a separate presentation, so I'm not going to say too much about them, except they're interviewing today and bringing on all the youth that work on this program. So this is our youth engagement service learning project. And let's see. Yeah, again, if anyone wants to learn more about them, Natasha spoke at the August 2023 meeting, so you could watch that. And I'm assuming she'll be back this fall. And to tell you more.
The report will be available on the website probably by the end of this month, by the end of April, the 2023 report.
Cool. And a couple of things they worked on in 2023, I just wanted to highlight is they did a lot of prairie work and prairie restoration work, which was great on North Sky, Left Hand Trail, and on the High Plains Trail. And they're also really working on continuing to make the application process very accessible and welcoming to any youth in Boulder who wants to be part of it. One of the really innovative ways Natasha was recruiting a couple weeks ago, because we helped get some volunteers out there, was to do like a family fishing recruitment event. And then it really opened up to some of our Latino families in the community. So we're super excited about that.
What is the age range on this?
14 to 17.
And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Janelle, to finish up.
And the last partnership that we're going to highlight tonight, although we'll have some time at the next board meeting in May to talk a little bit more about this, is the Boulder Open Space Conservancy, which is our official 501c3 fundraising arm for OSMP. And last year, we just want to highlight, we're so grateful they raised over $30,000 for Mount Sanitas, as well as for other projects as well, but just wanted to call that one out. And so again, next month in the budget presentation, Sam and team will be talking a little bit more about how we handle donations and how is their funding supporting our program. And then now we will just talk for a minute we're already a quarter of the way into the year. What else are our plans for this year? We're going to do everything we talked about, plus some enhancements. You already heard about the Wildland Urban Interface program that Ready to Work will be a part of. There's going to be an additional youth program at Esoterra Farm, working in partnership with Boulder County. So it'll be similar to what you've heard tonight, where teens will get to go out and experience a program out at our agricultural properties. We'll be doing some native plant trailhead restoration projects, some more inclusion and belonging work with our volunteer cooperative. And then also with our volunteer cooperative, really honing in on being more prepared for disaster and recovery. And then
that's a picture of a gourd I just wanted to point out, and that's what the youth in Natural Highs do their herbal teas in. So
that's at Lake Root Farm at the picnic tables. We set it all up. Bonnie's also, it's beautiful. She just had a training with us today, and she did the same thing with staff. So it was really special.
So now it's the part of the evening where Michelle, you get to read the declaration.
Michelle gets to ask a volunteer to read the declaration of volunteerism.
I will volunteer to read the declaration.
Good tradition. It's
The Open Space Board of Trustees joins the staff of the City of Boulder Open Space and Mountain Parks Department in recognizing all our volunteers during National Volunteer Week 2024. We salute the hundreds of open space and mountain parks volunteers who contributed their talents and efforts in helping the department carry out its city charter purposes for open space. This community of volunteers is an inspiration as their contributions help to protect the resources and provide for enjoyable experiences, making Boulder's open space and mountain parks a special place.
And then finally, I know you were already able to ask some questions when our guests were here, but if you have any other questions for us about VSLP programming, are there elements that you are most excited about? And are you hearing anything from the community about ways that they want to get involved that maybe we're not providing? So you're welcome to think about that now or get back to us. And
comments or any of these questions?
I think you all are doing a really amazing job. And first of all, I want to say just a huge thank you and to commend you for all of these accomplishments and all the programs that you're generating and keeping all the discs spinning. This is a sort of impromptu thought and a question. It's more of a question. What could be done to support the middle school contingency? I have a middle schooler. I also have a 20-year-old, and in my experience, middle school is a really important intersection when I think a lot of these behaviors that we're trying to address once they've already gotten into high school could actually be more proactively prevented. I did manage to get my 20-year-old all the way through her junior year of college with being sober. She doesn't drink. She doesn't do any drugs, and it was through a lot of service learning and volunteer work and time on the farm, time on the land, time in nature. I also was the Edge Girls Empowerment Program Manager at the YWCA of Boulder County. It was my first job ever. So I'm super passionate about youth beyond my own kids. But I'm noticing my son is right there in middle school, along with Michelle's and yours. Yeah. And I think there's a really critical need for that. So I would love to help and support in any way that I can, building bridges, and finding funding or whatever for the types of programs that you're talking about now for younger, that sort of middle layer that seems to get missed a lot of the time. And you're probably already doing stuff too, so I'd love to.
We did have a middle school junior rangers program on last year in partnership with Parks and Rec. So slowly, yes, sir, we are starting to see it and hear it. So yeah. Then maybe we'll pick your brain a little bit.
Sit down and
yours is the middle school realm. Yeah. And see where we can go and engage.
Great. Got line into the scouts and some middle school and all the things. So
perfect.
Yeah.
One of our team members just chimed in. Yes, love the middle school interest, and yes, it's on our mind. So that's I have a middle schooler as well, so I can.
Okay, look at this.
Well, we have 4 or 5 recruits in the room.
Too. So Boulder County will be started culinary, which is another regenerative farm on open space, and their focus is to be vegetables because they don't have it. So I'm working with Mark, and we're right now developing that program around it. So just the sooner the better. We know that in age range that we can get them into these healthy habits and healthy spaces. So as soon as we can, I think really we can do this. It's hard because all of a sudden we can't develop all these programs, but we're trying really. Yes. So it's on our minds for that wellness
resources and stuff. Yeah.
Some volunteers to
Totally.
Well, thank you for coming and thank you for bringing the special guests. I like the fact that you all have a mix of true volunteer opportunities and paid opportunities. I think, from an equity standpoint, not everybody has the resource of time. And so, the Ready to Work program is so important to our community, as is the Youth Ranger programs. So offering paid opportunities, and I know you do like stipends for boots and things like that. Providing people with additional support so that they can actually connect with the land. That's something that people from disadvantaged communities don't have access to usually. So I appreciate that you are offering different kinds of opportunities and different types of support. Thank you. Okay,
thanks,
so
team.
Team.
That's great.
And I think, Dan, are we ready to move on?
Yeah, we are ready to move on. We
have
need to bring some new staff into the room. So if they're listening, we've got Jeff Haley and
always flag that too.
yeah.
I don't
think we need an official break, but if Eileen and Jeff are out there, you can tell them that we're ready to go. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
absolutely.
I really appreciate it. Thank
you.
We're doing another quick break.
No.
We're going to.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I just go in. There we go. Next act.
Next year.
Scene 2.
Yep.
I'll stop here. If you're watching the other.
I'll watch them later.
Oh, so you know, like whatever. Yeah, her shoulder. Yeah, you're on the mat. Oh, sweet.
Not mine.
Yeah.
I'm on the mat, 12 weeks. They will start to do.
Optimistic about my side. I just need to, like, I consider that challenge.
Sure.
Lingering.
No, do you want to sit here?
No. I just need to computer isn't working with the Wi-Fi. So
Everybody ready?
yes, for all that. Limited, but this is perfect.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next section. I'm gonna try to keep us on schedule and we'll catch up here.
Yeah, you don't want your first meeting.
I know.
The pressure.
Oh, it's gonna be close.
And I will not do much of an intro, but I'll just turn things right over. This is for Sarah. We have been talking about the Marshall Mesa Trailhead area in two different aspects for probably over a year now. And this is another touch before we begin with more of the implementation phase. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jeff Haley, who will kind of get us started.
So I'm Jeff Haley. I haven't met you formally yet, but I'm the Deputy Director for our Visitor Experience and Infrastructure team. So we do a lot with trailheads, a lot of the infrastructure, as well as our recreation management, human dimensions data. We'll talk more about that when we do an orientation with you. But yeah, tonight we're really focused on the Marshall Mesa trailhead. We're also going to have an item immediately following that with our South Mesa trailhead. So kind of two trailheads this evening. And, you know, I really enjoyed the comments you all were sharing earlier. You were talking about your favorite trails and locations, because trailheads, I mean, in some regards, they're kind of our front door to the open space system. They're not just parking areas and a place to throw the trash away and go to, you know, they're really a place that we've been looking at, the whole team recently, to really upgrade our visitor amenities, provide nice quality infrastructure, and basically set people up for success going into the public land. So we have about 37 trailheads across the system.
Recording in progress.
We did some recent condition assessments evaluations, and unfortunately about 62% of them need either moderate to severe kind of reconfiguration, renovation. They score anywhere from fair to poor. We get a lot of questions all the time, you know, why are they so degraded and why is the condition so bad and that sort of thing. So that's what we're doing, is really taking a holistic look, doing some upgrades, renovating those, and you'll hear about that this evening. I just want to touch real quickly while we're getting geared up here for the presentation. I think this also relates back to some of the OSBT priorities you all established a couple meetings ago. If you think about, I think, Michelle, you talked a lot about parking and equity and access and bike parking and how we see visitors arriving to the system. That's something we think a lot about with our trailheads. And then also it kind of rolls into, especially in these locations, some of the mentions you all had with CU South, and just understanding how we might see more visitors going to different places on the system once that property moves into construction. So I think this is an important project and kind of topic for some of those priorities that you all have. One last thing, we'll be coming up with budget discussions next month, and we'll talk a lot about CIP. And so, you know, where do we fund these types of projects? How do we pay for these? You'll hear more about that next month as well, and going forward in those conversations. So tonight, it's not just Marshall Mesa, the trailhead, but I want to touch a lot on the division of reclamation, mining, and safety. So we have Eileen Flax as our senior landscape architect with OSMP. She's going to do the presentation. And then we have Jeremy and Tara here from DRMS. So great knowledge base in the room. And I'll go ahead and turn over to Eileen to get going.
Thank you.
All right, so the Marshall Mesa Trailhead is located at 93 and 170, so Broadway and Marshall Road. It is a beloved trailhead. There's a lot of biking that happens there in particular, but also a lot of hiking. But grasslands is a very important component of it. There's a rich history of geology and cultural history as well. That's very important on that at that trailhead. We're looking tonight at kind of three different things on this drawing. One is the existing trailhead that shows up in the aerial. And then there is the overlaid is our proposed trailhead design. And then the blue outline is the area of mitigation that DRMS is going to be working in. And so we're looking at these together just to give you that context of where we are and what's going to be happening on the site. And as Jeff said, DRMS is going to be sharing some information about that coming up here. As we work through our trailhead design, we're looking at a whole host of factors that we consider in designing a trailhead and redesigning a trailhead. And of course, access and functionality and safety are a key component of putting all of those pieces together. The trailhead design addresses so many of our master plan strategies across all the tiers and across all these different areas. We can really, because it's such a concentrated place of visitor use, we can really address so many of our master plan strategies. This particular trailhead has a lot of different collaborators working on it. So we're working with FEMA because our restrooms were burned during the Marshall fire, and we're going to be replacing them in conjunction. We're working with DRMS. We're working with the Mountain View Fire Protection District because they're interested in having a cistern for fire protection in the region located at the trailhead. We've been working with the county on transport and CDOT on transportation issues related to access to the site and circulation from the park and ride adjacent, our trailhead, and the shuttle stops, the shuttle program. So our trailhead design is shaping up to look something like this. We have, at a larger scale, we're looking at having a new driveway access that allows for full turn movements, which is something that the current access does not provide. People have to kind of get illegal turns to go left. And so this is going to provide a full safe turn movements. We are looking at providing ample parking at the site, which sees a lot of visitor use. We're also going to have accessible parking and trailer parking and a shuttle stop available. And the cistern that will provide for the Mountain View Fire Protection District. So the idea is that the cistern will be located to fill from the trailhead, and then that we'd fill it up from the trailhead. And then if a fire truck needs to get water from it, they would be accessing it from 170 from a pullout or a wide shoulder at 170, kind of in here. Zooming in, we're going to have a bike plaza focused around the backstop, the shade structure that's located there. So lots of bike parking, a bike fix-it station, a place to gather bikes that isn't in the parking lot, information provided at the backstop as information. We're going to put a huge effort into an accessible experience that's really meaningful with a nature trail connecting from the accessible parking through the trailhead to a nature trail that goes in a shaded area with seating, and then
interpretation along the focused at the trailhead and along the nature trail related to grasslands and climate change and eco-healing. And then gathering spaces and shade shelter and a picnic area for gathering. And then our new vault restroom, which is going to be our new standard. These vault restrooms just went in at Centennial, so we're really excited about having them. There, it's 2 individual ones. This will be a double, but it has this look. It's a all concrete restroom that has wood and shingle and rock all made out of concrete, so they're very fire resilient.
We get excited about that.
Yeah. And then again, we have the DRMS mitigation work kind of overlaid with the trailhead, and I'm going to turn it over to Jeremy.
Yeah, so we've been coordinating for a while here, and last year we went out and did subsurface identification and located the areas of known heat and where there are still some potential existing fuels in the ground. One of the things we wanted to kind of talk about and show tonight is kind of the process. All the areas in the Marshall Mesa Trailhead mitigation area are about 30 feet or less below the current ground surface to get to the bottom of this coal seam that's either already burned or is smoldering now or has remaining fuels. We just completed a similar project literally across the street at the Lewis Mine fire site. And that's where this picture was. And that seems very similar. It was also about 30 feet below the ground surface there at Lewis. So it's a kind of a good visual of our plans at the Marshall site. Pop back one real quick. Our current idea, and this is probably what we're going to go with, is to work the site starting at the south end mitigation, and then moving to the north and working our way out. Part of our coordination is we're going to utilize what will become the future entrance to the new trailhead as our construction entrance. So we're going to minimize as much disturbance as we can. So we've moved from north to south. The wrong thing. There we go. And it'll, sorry, there we go. And it'll look something like this. So as
any difference on the,
oh, it's just delayed on this one. It's working online and everywhere else. Yeah. It's confusing, sorry. I'm like, yeah.
So we'll excavate down all the way through the coal seam to the bottom of the coal seam. And there's a pretty good identifiable shale layer that we've identified in our boring program. We'll get to that seam. If we encounter any material above 80 degrees, it's going to be our threshold. That material will be blended with the overburden with the soil and rock that we've already excavated that's coal at a minimum of 1:5 ratio. Usually it winds up a whole bunch more than that, but that'll be our minimum. And if there's any unburned coal, any potential fuels, that'll also be mixed at that same ratio or greater to prevent any future spontaneous combustion or ignition. There'd just literally be no, even if one chunk of coal were to get hot, there'll be nothing adjacent to it for it to continue. So in this picture, if we were at Marshall, what we would be doing, we'd be working that face almost like a strip mine forward. They would blend and replace the material behind them. So even though we're going to be excavating and mitigating 5+ acres, they'll rarely be more than 1/4 to 1/2 acre open at any one time. And you can, thank you. Again, this is just to get an idea when people hear us talk about digging up a coal fire, or they have visions of buckets full, an excavator bucket full that looks like the bottom of their charcoal grill or something. So what I really wanted to show here is the material coming out here. Again, this is at Lewis. We had material up to 650 degrees in some places at Lewis, but there were no visible embers. There was no open flame. And this is literally what it looks like coming out of the ground. It just hot rock, essentially. It's the water, a lot of times we'll put directly on for dust control right off the bat, more for dust control than cooling. The blending really does most of the cooling. It can get a little tricky when we have ash mixed in because the coal ash itself is hydrophobic. So the water hits it and it actually exacerbates the dust a bit. So we don't always, aren't always going to be spraying, but if we need to, we will have that available and it'll be happening. Okay, so we can move to the next one. So here we're actually excavating the hot coal, and then the other picture, the dozer's right beside it, and they're already starting to blend the material as soon as it gets out of the ground. Typically, the material cools very quickly once it's out of the ground and blended. 30 minutes, and it's already approaching our minimum temperatures. It was pretty cold while we were doing Lewis, but we like to do these in winter because having colder temperatures helps with that. We were going from 600 degrees to our threshold there was 90 degrees. We were getting to below our threshold in less than 30 minutes from 600 degrees. So it goes very quick. And this is actually a little video of the blending process. Will it work?
I don't know. I just click again. Maybe. Yeah,
there you go. So this material has already been mixed, but you can see how we've windrowed it up to cool. But you can see now that it's blended, you can't even pick out the coal that's in it. That's how blended it is. And we continually turn it over. This dozer had a big set of rippers on the back that helped it windrow it up. And like I said, within 30 minutes, the material is cooled down and ready for use as backfill. We are constantly measuring it. We've kind of determined between 12 to 18 inches is as thick as we want to get. If we get too much thicker than that, it takes longer for it to cool down because it actually insulates itself. So that's kind of our process there.
Yeah.
And then this is, as we backfill at this site, it was all a much smaller site. We only had open about half an acre. But at Marshall, as we're moving forward, we're moving to the north, we'll also be grading, final grading behind ourselves. In some areas, we'll be grading to simulate the surrounding topography, undisturbed topography. In some areas where the trailhead redevelopment is going to be happening, our finished grades will be the rough grades in preparation for the work to come to behind us.
So our schedule for the work, we've completed conceptual design. We're kind of in the middle of construction documents and permitting. Our limited impact special use review is heading to the county by way of the city manager's and attorney's office. So that's on its way right now. DRMS, as they said, are looking to do their work in the winter. And so starting this fall to do their work, and then we'll come in with the trailhead reconstruction following that work, and we'll provide you all with updates as that process goes along. But we are looking at closing the trailhead from the beginning of the DRMS work to the end of the trailhead construction. And so the trailhead itself will be closed for that time. And then also just the one little section of trail, the coal seam to the Marshall Valley Trail. if all goes well, we should be able to keep the whole Bismarck Loop open during that time. We just won't be able to have any vehicle or pedestrian access from that point at the trailhead. So there's a number of other places where you can access that loop, and there's other places with restrooms before putting in our lovely new restroom. So this is the intention, is that we can keep the rest of that loop open. And then this is a fairly rudimentary view of how the trailhead will sit on the site, but it's just kind of a fun way to look at the site on Google Earth. So happy to answer any questions that you have or further discussion.
Do we have questions or comments?
Nobody else? So just for business, our colleague Grady had to drop off, and he sent me a message just to let me know it had to do with him losing his room in New York where he was getting his internet connection. So I think he's going to be watching the rest of it on video.
Okay.
So and then I had a couple of questions and comments because this is something that we saw since I've been on the board just recently, and I remember the last time we saw it, I made a comment about those eliminating those central drive aisles so there'd be fewer car pedestrian interactions and more parking. And so I just wanted to compliment you on the new plan. I think it looks great, and I hope it works great. So I know you're not in the final design, but it continues to get better. And then the other question that I had at the last meeting, and I'm so grateful that you brought the RMS staff to talk with us, was about the groundwater impact, if any, of putting all this ground up soil and coal together at depths up to 30, 35 feet. You mentioned the shale layer, and by the way, thanks for showing how that whole kind of strip mining and milling process works. Now it's real for me, and I understand it a lot better. So not the way you understand it, but I understand it.
Yeah, the pictures help. It really helps us describe the method as well.
So you had mentioned the shale layer. Maybe there's some kind of impervious surface down there, but I was just concerned that if you take, you know, what had formerly been some sort of consolidated natural rock formation and then chew it up and then put it back down again, are we potentially creating a situation where there could be chemical leachate that would come out when we have rains and stuff like that? What are you thinking about in terms of groundwater interaction, if you consider all those things?
Well, we do have 5 or 6 ground piezometers out there where we're measuring groundwater level. We're going to be working, and part of this because we don't want to get, because constructability, we can, you know, on a very basic level, it becomes a constructability issue. We're having to pump water, deal with water to keep our excavation dry. We are not going to be in the groundwater table. All this mitigation is going to happen above the groundwater table. I guess one premise there is a little off in that you're thinking of it as an undisturbed subsurface, and it's not. The area has been heavily burned. We do have voids and rubble zones from where everything's burned and collapsed. And there is some, especially on the northern end, unburned coal that we want to remove as a fuel mitigation thing. So while we're in here, we don't want to leave anything behind. Again, that material is going to be mixed with the overburden, all the soil and rock we're pulling out, and it's going to be even more dispersed than it is now. So if any infiltration, thank you. Any infiltration coming through now is going through that material, and if there's anything left to leach out of it, is going through a seam to leach out. And it's highly fractured. It's not a continuous impervious kind of layer. So in that respect, not that I'm implying there is much contamination or coming through it now, because I don't believe there is. If there was, this would even further reduce that. It wouldn't actually wind up exacerbating anything that's already going on. And going.
Yeah. So just to add on to that, you know, where that's fractured and is rubbleized, when we drill, we're drilling through rubble. So if you think of just like a pile of boulders where there's a ton of space that water could move through, and when we're done here, the work that we're going to be doing, we'll be compacting as we come up. And so that material is going to be, it would be less permeable than what's there now. So I think, I agree with Jeremy that it would be probably less likely to create any kind of water quality issue. That said, we did just, I was just looking at those, the well completion data today, and the shallowest groundwater we had on site was 40 feet. So we're still going to be well above anywhere that we would encounter water.
And that 40-foot reading you got was over 4 seasons, so you know what.
It was in the winter, so it was probably the lowest it would be. Or when did they complete those? It was like March.
Yeah, it was the end of March.
It was the end of March, early April 25th. So potentially the water had already started to come up a little bit. You know, you're certainly not at peak groundwater, but yeah, I wouldn't be concerned that there's going to be a groundwater issue.
And you'll keep running those piezometers until the fall when you start the project. So if the assumption's wrong,
yeah, we're still we can still pull water levels because it's in our. We do not want to get into that. It makes a huge mess to try and deal with it, and it doesn't do us any good on the mitigation front. There's nothing down in the below the seasonal groundwater table that we would want to mess with anyway.
And it's likely, based on what we saw at Lewis, that our excavation will actually likely be a little shallower than we planned for. Plan for the biggest and hope for less. So
right, and do a little hand thing here. So the ridge line where the trees sit, kind of from the lower left there, that ridge line that goes up to the center top, that's a fault. That's a fault scarp. So the area to the west where we're going to be doing our work actually dips to the east. So the areas like closest to the construction entrance, closest to the highway, are actually the shallowest. Now for our volume and all our stormwater calcs and everything else, we're going worst case scenario, we're just going to go 30 feet everywhere. The reality is that coal seam is getting shallower the farther west in the site it goes. So on the western side of the excavation, we're likely to only be 15 to 20 feet to get below that coal seam and into our marker shale layer. On the western side will be our deepest side. So that kind of helps build a picture.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other? I just have some questions, and I just want to make sure I'm understanding it right, Eileen and Jeff, that it doesn't look like the work or any of the mitigation work is actually going to encroach upon the actual coal seam trail. Is that correct?
I think that's right.
Right. So stay.
How ironic.
Okay, right. Yeah, right.
We're gonna do a trail renewal.
I was worried about the slick rock, losing the slick rock piece of it. Because
the one right east of the parking lot.
Yeah, lots of tears on that trail for my kids, but yeah, I want to be here to stay there.
So other parents can have tears.
It's dangerous.
Not digging it up, but we are kind of planning on realigning the trail connection to avoid that in the future.
Oh,
yeah.
We recognize it's a fun feature, you know.
It's like the most interesting feature around there, yeah. I would say.
And it's almost like an introduction into more information how to ride on rock and the outcroppings and that sort of thing. And we don't need to get to the plans that DRMS has. I think they're showing even some stockpiling or staging that little central part where there's
We're
that
gonna
big
move
rock
that.
bed. That's gonna be.
That's gonna be moved, so, yeah.
So that's something we can look at. We recognize, I mean, everybody we talk, oh, that's our favorite place, so. Yeah.
In terms of the trail alignment though, having one trail leading out from the trailhead and connecting rather than having kind of braided. The braiding has been leading to a lot of undesignated trails right at that. So we'd like to set people up for success. Understanding that is pretty fun. It'd be better if it was a little further down the trail rather than right at the beginning. So you have your legs under you, but yeah, we're not gonna move it.
Yeah, my kids did Boulder Junior cycling and they practice on that.
Yeah.
So speaking of BJC and other organizations who might be using this shade structure, I know last time we talked about like, are we going to have a reservation system for those? Or there going to be people? Is there going to be access for anybody who's just dropping by in those shade structures? And then really the overall question is like, how much has this plan today changed from last time we saw it, and it will continue to change?
We really haven't resolved the issue about renting the space. We had been looking at when we shared it last, we had kind of 2 different shade shelters, and we're looking at, well, maybe one could be reservable and the other one not. In terms of just how that system works, we kind of need to dig into that a little bit more. But the shelter is big enough to hold 3 picnic tables, which can be ample. I can't speak really to how the reservation system is going to work. In terms of how similar this is to the last time, it's kind of reconfigured, but it has all the same elements. We've kind of stuck with the program that we had developed and we're continuing with that. So the restroom, there's 1 shade shelter, not 2 shade shelters. That kind of has to do with the reconfiguration and using that backstop as a gathering space. So doesn't really provide much shade, but it does create a place, and having that bike area kind of held by the backstop, I think is going to work really well in terms of just making that feel like a reason to be there and that you're connecting in that space.
We refer to the existing structure that's out there as the backstop. It's not the formal name, but that's why.
Sorry, I know, because of that sliver of shade you can get.
Yeah, so we
have right there.
Yeah.
So thank you. I think that the last question that I have has to do with just communications to the community, because this is going to be a massive change. It's going to be a closure. And so are we waiting until we get permits, or are we sort of sending that, telegraphing that to the community now?
Our current planning was to just about a month ahead of time give people a heads up about that. I guess if anybody's trying to rent the space or reserve the space, then they would know sooner than that if there were permits that were being pulled for that area. But we can look at having additional community input. We talked about connecting with the county a little bit upstream of that, giving them a little more of a heads up, although they will know because they're going to be working through the whole review process.
Yeah. And I think sometimes there's a careful balance about if you're too early in your communications and people just kind of, oh, okay, that's too far in the future, I don't care. Or, but you want to give them plenty of time. So yeah, I think we'll probably work with our communications staff and really outline a thoughtful strategy to really use all methods that we have available to communicate closures and how long.
So we'll have signs out there in the field notes and social media. And we have direct mailings with some of the permit holders.
So the alternative routes to be able to access the trails that are still left open, because they're not going to be able to access it from here, obviously, but they would have to kind of go east or south to access the system. Right?
Yeah, I think the idea of notification combined with wayfinding and alternatives is a really good idea.
I mean, some of us do bike there rather than drive there. So I just trying to think of a safe way to access it. I don't really want my kids on Marshall Road at all. Yeah. So I think it's kind of like out of the question for us during that time period, which is fine. I mean, it has to be done.
My theory will be that most people will start using either Greenbelt Plateau, which is down to the south, or the 66th Street connection to the east, where you can kind of park along that road, and then you come in. So if folks are really, their destination is Marshall Mesa area, that's probably where those two options.
But to bike there and then bike there
and around there.
yeah.
Tears, I'm telling you, more tears.
Find another place for those tears.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions or comments?
I would just back you up a little bit on that Rocky Shield feature just being fun. And even if the trail doesn't end up using it anymore, you don't have to go over it, you know, maybe consider if it's that much of a treasured community resource, and I love it, you know, maybe it just becomes kind of like a little natural fun park. I think the reason is just that it's weird. You know, you're kind of in this like, you know, semi-arid, you know, like plateau environment. And then there's this like flat shield rock outcrop that you can play on. So, you know, it's not like people are degrading the crap out of it. It's hard. So, you know, maybe just leaving it as sort of a natural playground that you can spur off into from, you know, one entry point or something like that, or you can cross
it's not, it doesn't connect to the trail system, but it's a separate.
It's just a separate thing that people can play on once the project is done. That could be fun.
Yeah.
Like a skills.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A trail of tears.
My kids never watch these videos. Scrapes.
Cuts and scrapes. I don't know.
Cuts and Scrapes. That's a great name.
Cuts and Scrapes.
To go along with the non-coal seam trail.
Formerly known as a
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's no other question, we can just transition right into South Mesa. And Jeremy and Tara, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. So we really don't have any formal introduction. But actually, let me say real quick, I didn't announce Bethany, who goes without saying, she's been so instrumental and helpful. And this, I didn't introduce her formally a minute ago, but we couldn't have done any of this without all the work she's done. Before you head out, just want to recognize.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, we'll just roll right into South Mesa. So again, another trail renovation project, trailhead renovation project. This one is not, you know, we're using the opportunity of the DRMS work to do a lot of work at Marshall Mesa. This one's more of just a standard renovation project that we won't cover the same, you know, kind of information that duplicate what we did with Marshall Mesa, but we'll go right into kind of the design considerations and that sort of thing.
I don't think. Yeah, no, just go to the next. Oh, no. Go back to it. Just hide it.
Michelle, you're sweating it, aren't you?
It's getting.
It's getting
It's just like.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know what, if we were in council chambers, we would have been on time, because then there wouldn't, the room would have not had to be.
It's fine that it would show up.
So,
It's not,
yeah, extenuating.
I'm not.
Did you, we'll be back in there next month?
Oh, did you share?
No.
Oh, do that first and then we'll do that same thing. Okay, yeah.
Are we back in chambers?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, it should be back online for our next meeting.
Oh, wow.
I think council is going to probably hold a meeting in there still in April yet. So.
It takes longer. No one else though.
No what?
This is just delayed. It's here's what's in line.
All right. Right now we're talking about the South Mesa Trailhead renovation. So South Mesa Trailhead is on El Dorado Springs Drive, also off of 93. And it is South Mesa Trailhead is kind of directly across the street from Dowdy Draw Trailhead, and you have access to the Mesa Trail, which is our system's longest trail. Again, our trailheads are more than just a parking lot. We take a holistic view and address the same master plan strategies that we were looking at Marshall. We're looking at that same spectrum of factors that are addressing trailhead access, safety, and functionality. This trailhead in particular was identified for renovation because we were spending a huge amount of labor and materials at this trailhead. It was anecdotally, it was just graded in over a weekend. It wasn't actually designed, and so we're losing a lot of material there. When we look at the trailhead, we're looking at the character of it as an ecotone, a transition between the built environment and between our system. And we're trying to model stewardship. We're trying to provide wayfinding that's clear and helps people know where to go, and that it's welcoming, so that we're setting people up for success on the system. This, like Marshall Mesa, is in a passive recreation area designation from the visitor master plan. There are different area designations. So this is the highest level of use that's accommodated on the system. So we're trying to provide this high level of public access, maintaining or improving recreational and educational opportunities, and accommodating the high level of visitation that we see here. We see a lot of vehicles coming in here, up to an average of 350 vehicles on a day on the weekends. We're looking at 85% occupancy. And it used to be like in 2011, it was a class 2 trailhead with up to 50,000 visits a year. We're looking at something like 120,000 visits a year at this trailhead. And most people are coming by vehicle, by single occupancy car. So we are looking to provide ample parking at the trailhead. Again, have access for shuttle buses and a bike parking corral for up to 16 bikes. Equestrian parking is not included here. It is included at Dowdy Draw across the street. And we'll be providing an access route between, there is an access now, we'll be improving the access between the two trailheads. And we have access to the Mesa Trail from the site, and that trail has about 100,000 people on it every year. Most people are walking or hiking here. It's over 50% are hiking from this site. Some people bring their dogs. And again, we'll have a safe and accessible route between Dowdy Draw to South Mesa, around the trailhead, and to the spur, which is the area just north of the trailhead parking lot. We will be concentrating our visitor infrastructure in areas that are accessible both for visitors and for maintenance crews. And we're looking at including interactive site interpretation, particularly within that spur area, looking at themes that address the South Boulder Creek, Cottonwoods, and the ditch system. We'll be including a picnic area with a shelter and group picnic tables, and we will be replacing the vault restroom there too. In terms of restoration and the landscape here, we're looking to eliminate mowed turf and supporting the climate ready aesthetic within this critical pebbles habitat. And so we'll be planting a patchy mosaic of shrubs, grasses, and forbs, and plantings that really exhibit change and balance in the landscape. For water, we will be protecting the South Boulder Creek and celebrating the Davidson Ditch and all that this ditch system does in our community, and protecting the quality of water in the ditch and the creek. So this all came together with a schematic design that looks something like this, with utilizing our existing access road, providing ample parking and a turnaround for and parking for a shuttle bus, accessible parking, a vault restroom, and then the visitor infrastructure area is concentrated on the north side of the ditch. This is the ditch corridor, and here's the South Boulder Creek corridor. We are developing construction documents. This is the parking lot currently designed, and the spur area as it's currently designed. And we are also kind of in the middle of construction documents for this project and starting to work through the permitting questions and consultation with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. We will be looking at construction kind of after Marshall Mesa is constructed, taking up that following. That is my presentation. I love this picture. It's like a rainbow. That sumac is so gorgeous with blue sky. So I'm happy to answer any questions on this one.
Just timing.
Yeah. So we're kind of in the middle of design. I'm working through that, and then construction would happen following Marshall Mesa.
So the crews just like move on down the road?
Maybe. I mean, if we get a good contractor on board, we're hoping that that could work out. In that
I send DRMS, so let them push the gear around. That's actually a good question, because we've been trying to, as I said earlier, focus on almost like one trailhead per year. You know, the time it takes to go through all the design process, permitting, community, notification, and then the construction. So, and I think next month, in fact, we'll bring a written item to the board that just gives a status on all of our projects, but we're doing Chapman Trailhead that you've heard about. And then Marshall will start, and then this would be probably more into that 26 time frame.
And Sawhill. Chapman, then Sawhill.
Yeah. So that's as far apart as you can get.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
The one feature at South Mesa that just to kind of double click on is this kind of nature discovery area that we were talking about. And you all might be familiar with South Mesa as you walk across the first bridge on the ditch, and then you enter into that kind of just open area. And so we're looking at how we can use that effectively and sensitively with the overall resource needs to just provide some amenities there and kind of use that space. Because you always see people out there gathering or sitting on a blanket or something like that.
Taking pictures.
Photographs in the fall for sure. So that'll be again, just to kind of reinforce the idea that these trailheads are an overall visitor experience. So.
Yeah, I mean, these upgrades have to happen. I just know that like these trailheads are always full. Mm-hmm. And so I just don't know where people will go when it's closed. So I mean, to the point that to the extent that we can redirect people, I mean, that would be great. I mean, I don't know, like if you're finished with Marshall Mesa, so with DRMS, say they start in December, they need, I can't remember what that was, like 3 months, and then you need like 3 months, and then this happens like dead on spring, summer. Like that could be, yeah, people just would be truly looking for places to go.
So this is 25.
Yeah,
so that's 25 and this is 26, right?
So the way it's working out, that we hope that Marshall Mesa, the trailhead construction would happen like from the beginning of the winter of 25 and then finish up in the fall. And then
of 25.
Okay. And then late fall of 25 begin construction of South Mesa.
Okay.
So, but I think that they wouldn't be closed at the same time. That would be the ideally. Great. And well, the shuttle's not running at that point. But
it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. I think you're
yeah, I just my only I got a few just verbal announcements about some ongoing work at Boulder Valley Ranch. We've got, speaking of trailhead improvements and trail improvements, we have some active projects going out right now at the ranch with some completed success of the Eagle Trailhead is now back open and renovated. And we are now working on, and this is all called out in the North TSA. So we're beginning to implement the North TSA at Boulder Valley Ranch Complex. And now they're on the Sage Trail, doing some work right now. So just wanted to call your attention that it's nice that we're moving from the North Foothills area into Boulder Valley Ranch this year as far as honoring our commitments out at the North Trail study area. So some good success there. And just to let you know that we had a really good hiring season overall. I've checked in with all the deputies and they're all smiling that they had a good recruitment for all of our crews from vegetation and forestry and trails and trailheads and water and wildlife. So we're feeling really good about our field season, which is really well underway. We've had one orientation for all of our temporary and seasonals. And the second one is this coming Monday, I believe, So I think we're set up for a really good year out on our system. So with that, I think we can move it over.
Okay, wow. You doubted me, 8:46.
I don't tell you.
Okay, I do just have one little thought about PR because I'm in media marketing. Okay. PR, that's a good job. Yeah. I've had that experience where I go to a trail and it's closed and it's my norm. It's what I rely on doing consistently. I think it's really valuable though to get out of our rut and there's so much to discover. The good news that we have is that there are so many beautiful places. So in that creating that intersection, I think there can be really lovely materials, maps, notices. There can be just a general tone to the an invitation to try. Here's what would be similar. Here's how it looks. Here, if you're looking for this, try this. If you're looking for that, we could even look at like, well, what is it that people enjoy about that trail specifically, and how does that line up with other trails, and kind of name that. So that people feel like they're being invited to have a new experience and they're being recognized rather than just, oh no, that's closed. Now what do I do? Then we could have the disruption be a positive thing.
Yeah. That's actually really good.
That is a great point, Sarah.
Try this instead.
Yeah. Meadowlarks go to
lucky day. We're closed here.
Yeah, good news.
Great news for you.
That's actually really good point. Because we've also tried to disperse some of the traffic, you know, because people always have their favorite, they always go to this one trailhead. And so that would also give the visitors a chance to explore and say, I don't always have to go to South Mesa every morning. So that's good.
Yeah, and not just like that people are coming for, like maybe it's where it is, or maybe it's a certain activity, or right. So that you're not just sending this whole group of people to this other place, but yeah, this person.
Speak to your audience, figure out what are the other factors there.
Great point.
Excellent point. Okay, any other ones? Are we?
Don't we say your first gavel?
Picture first shot.
Oh,
All right, with that, this concludes our meeting of April 10th, 2024.